My name is H.C Andersen. I'm from Denmark, a famous author, at least I think I am. I have written many fairy tales, and I'm going to talk about not each one of them, but a few of them anyway. So I will start with a story about a princess. No, wait. I've changed my mind. I'm going to talk about my upbringing first. You see, my father was a shoemaker, and I was a shoemaker's boy. And I didn't want to become a shoemaker. No, I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to be an actor, a poet, a writer, anything that had to do with how to express yourself. And I usually played with dolls when I was a kid. I dreamt of, having my name written in the stars, that my name would lit up all of Copenhagen. That's what I wanted. I wanted to become famous. World famous. Somebody wrote to the king and asked them to put me into a special school, and that school was for boys. And I attended that school, and I also was accommodated in a family called Melkers. And well, they taught me many good things, of course, but I was bullied by both teacher and students at the same time, which wasn't pleasant at all. I only had one friend. It was a young boy. I think he was around 13, 14 perhaps, and I was a bit older than that. In order to get a scholarship, I had to study even more. So I went to another school, and I finally got my degree there, and finally I was getting more and more respected. But I had one minor problem. I suffer from dyslexia, which made it, well, very hard for me to read and write well. So it took me a lot of effort to overcome that. I was mailing a friend called Charles Dickens, and we decided to meet up. So we met in England, and he wanted me to stay over the weekend, but it turned out that I actually lived there for 5 weeks. And Charles Dickens and his family didn't like me, and they didn't like me living there for so long. So one day Charles Dickens mentioned that Jenny Lind was going to perform somewhere in London. So when he mentioned that, I took off in a flash. You see, Jenny Lind was the love of my life, but she didn't love me back. I wonder why. Anyway, she was a famous opera singer from Sweden, and she got the nickname the Swedish Nightingale, and I dedicated a fairy tale called The Nightingale in her honor. And I wrote her several letters, which she returned, but she called me her brother. So that was what I was to her, a friend and a brother, but nothing more. Anyhow, I followed her all around the world, more or less. and I was really in love with her. Really. But she married somebody else. She married a piano player. And me, myself, I never married. But I also have another friend, a Swedish friend called Fredrika Bremer, and we wrote letters to each other as well. But she complains about my English. I don't know why. I think it's perfectly well. Anyway, she wrote a poem about Jenny Lind too. So that was very fascinating. I also wrote the lyrics to I Love You, and the famous composer Edvard Grieg from Norway wrote the music to it. But still, Jenny didn't like it. She didn't want to. Well, she sang it, of course, but she didn't get the hint. But one day, Jenny Lind visited Queen Victoria of England, and she gave her a golden nightingale, which she was very fond of. I think it was some kind of a jewel, a golden nightingale. Very pretty, I've heard. Oh, there we are. We are going to talk about my fairy tales. I've made one that's called Thumbelina. Can you see her? She is a very sad girl, but one day she meets a prince, and they like each other very much. Hello, what's your name? I'm Thumbelina. What's yours? I'm the prince. Do you like me? Yes, okay. Another famous story is The Princess and the Pea. And what's that all about? Well, it's about a princess that claims she's a princess, and the only way to find out is to put a little small pea under her bed. And one day she woke up. Her back was very sore. So therefore, she was a real princess. But another famous story that is actually based on my own life. Do you know which one it is? No? But one fairy tale is based on my own life. It's called The Ugly Duckling. You see, he was very bullied by everybody, just like me. My friends bullied me, my teachers bullied me, my friends, schoolmates, everybody bullied me. So just like that little bird, nobody wanted him, nobody liked him. And he was so sad, he didn't know what to do. But his mother believed in him and told him he could be just about anything he wanted. And one day he grew up to become a beautiful swan. And that is almost my story. You see, it's quite amazing. From being a poor boy and turning out a famous author. And in a way, the stars lit up Copenhagen in my name, in my honor. That is very amazing, in fact. You might have heard about the emperor's new clothes. Well, as you all know, but he didn't get any clothes. They were just imaginary. You see, he was all naked when he was done. So that was a very fun story. But another interesting story is the wild swans. And there were 11 princes and 1 princess. And one day, the evil stepmother turned them into swans, except the girl. She sent her away. And that is a very interesting story, but I won't reveal it yet because you are going to work with this one. But I can tell you, in present day, a famous queen, the Queen of Denmark, has been working on this film, and she also has a little small part in it. Let's see if you can find her when you see it. Oh, one last thing. You might have heard about Frozen, Fantasia, and The Little Mermaid. They were produced by Walt Disney. Have you seen those? I wrote them. But now I will say goodbye and see you later. H.C. Andersen, 2nd of April 1805 to 4th of August 1875. He wrote more than 200 fairy tales, 1,000 poems, and 6 novels. His work was translated into at least 150 different languages. There's a museum about H.C. Andersen in Odense, Denmark. Many of his work and letters can be read at the Hans Christian Andersen Center's website. He was a key contributor to the Danish Golden Age when it comes to literature epochs. Many movies have been made about H.C. Andersen. 2 of the most famous are Hans Christian Andersen, My Life as a Fairy Tale, 2003, Young Andersen, 2005. Many statues have been made all around the world depicting H.C. Andersen. They can be found in Copenhagen, Denmark, New York, United States, Malaga, Spain, Sydney, Australia, and many other places in the world.
Wonderful, wonderful Copenhagen, friendly old girl of town. 'Neath her tavern light on this merry night, let us clink